Hi there. Okay, we were going to do a recording yesterday and we had pouring rain. It just came down like a bathtub. I was all dressed up very nicely. So today I'm not as dressed up. I just came running in and my hair is kind of bad, so I have a hat on. All right, so we're doing Poetry in the Porch from New Jersey. And I wanted to read a couple of poems. One is from my book Luna, okay? The first book that came out. And it's called Rain Travelers because of yesterday, I guess. Plus, I would like to be away traveling right now, as you all would be. Rain Travelers. I studied at first the way you like to rise as the rain would begin announcing our first day of travel, how each word would fold perfectly into the next, snuggle up as if in a sleeping bag, with us as it circled pressed up tight inside the hour, how you'd notice a wolf spider astounded by black and coral bands wrapped around its legs like a revolutionary spider, how we would return home differently than before to all our creatures, bear and raccoon, looking at us silently as we pulled the world back up to their lairs, how my hair would have new wands of gold and coral threads, how the woman who spun the embroidered braid wouldn't know a word of our language, how the drops of rain would spin webbed patterns inside the voiceless leaves. We would go to Montreal and we would get my hair braided and they do the colors. So that's where that was from. All right, and one of my favorite of all time poems, if you had to have a favorite, would be called Traveling Through the Dark by William Stafford. And if you go online and put my name in, Traveling Through the Dark, I did a recording one time for someone. They wanted to know a favorite poem, so I read that one. So I'm not going to read that now, but I was reminded of it yesterday because Michael and I were driving along, and on the side of the road was a dead deer, and we could tell she was pregnant. And it disturbed us so much that, it ruined the day for us. So Traveling Through the Dark talks about that. But this one I'm reading because of what's going on with social distancing. And I used to give this to my workmates when they were, I used to tell them CTS cut the shit because they would be angry with one another. And I would leave this in their locker. It's called A Ritual to Read to Each Other by William E. Stafford. If you don't know the kind of person I am, and I don't know the kind of person you are, a pattern that others made may prevail in the world, and following the wrong God home, we may miss our star. For there is many a small betrayal in the mind, a shrug that lets the fragile sequence break, sending with shouts the horrible errors of childhood, storming out to play through the broken dike. And as elephants parade, holding each elephant's tail, but if one wanders, the circus won't find the park. I call it cruel, and maybe the root of all cruelty, to know what occurs but not recognize the fact. And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote, important region in all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider lest the parade of our mutual life gets lost in the dark. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no or maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. I thought right now with what's going on politically, that was a good one. And the last one I'm going to read was a request. I wrote a poem pretty recently. My husband liked it, and Don Mills, my first readers, really like this poem, so I'm going to read it now. It's called An Octopus's Garden in the Time of Social Distancing. I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden with you. Ringo Starr. We thought we'd be happy and there would be no one there to tell us what to do. But each night at 6 p.m., a foghorn would announce the next day's rules. Starfish with their 5 arms would point out that we had to wear our mask. We had to keep 6 feet away, especially from the octopus, who liked to hug. We were told we had to avoid the coral with its bony fingers, forever trying to undo our buttons, comb through our hair. Sirens became fretful and instead of luring sailors closer, chirped, "Stay away, go back." Angelfish reminded us what would happen if we forgot ourselves, if we allowed the octopus to hug us. We watched as the angels multiplied, rising like haze into our sunniest days. As ever at 6 p.m., the foghorn would blow its warnings, announce our losses, prepare us while the angels' numbers rose. Thank you.